Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Mentoring Minds with Ajay Sharma. In the previous session, we understood regarding depreciation. What is depreciation? We understood depreciation is shrinkage in the value of asset. The asset loses its value because we are continuously using it. हमें ये भी समझा कि ये asset की value क्यों कम होती है. Maybe because of wear and tear, damage, new inventions, obsolescence, or maybe because we are allowing the asset to be in idle as it is, called as passage of time. Now, because of all these reasons, we find that the value of asset falls down. Now, fall down तो हो गई, लेकिन अब ये value क्यों calculate की जाती है? What are the methods in accounting so as कि हम ये values identify कर सकें और आइडेंटिफाई करने के बाद हम इसे अकाउंटिंग सेंस में इसे इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकें. So in today's session we are going to understand about the methods and most importantly the factors that results into depreciation. So let's continue our discussion on methods and factors. Now the first one regarding the methods of charging depreciation. What do you observe in front of your screen? You find that there is a big field and in this field there are solar panels. ये solar panels क्यों लगाए गए हैं? सर ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पर एक खेती है, खेती के बजाय हम यहाँ पर सोलार खेती कर रहे हैं. अब ये सोलार खेती क्या होती है? हमें पता है कि ये सोलार के वजह से, सोलार पैनल्स की वजह से हम इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट करेंगे and this electricity generated can be used for selling it. Yes, this is called as green energy or called as clean energy without polluting the environment. हम यहाँ पर सनलाइट का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं और इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. ऐसी खेती, ऐसे फार्म्स, ऐसे फील्ड जहां पर प्रोडक्शन पॉसिबल नहीं है, टेक द एग्जांपल ऑफ राजस्थान, जहां पर प्रोडक्शन में भी पॉसिबल नहीं है, ऐसी जमीन को हम सोलार पैनल से कवर कर सकते हैं एंड विद द हेल्प ऑफ सोलार पैनल वी कैन जनरेट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. So here it helps us to develop a new form of business. Fine. So here when you want to apply these solar panels on your field, right, you are going to purchase those field, you are going to purchase solar panels and then you are going to use those solar panels for generating electricity. Right? So let's understand here the concept of method. I am talking about annuity method. Now what is this annuity method and why basically it is used on for calculating depreciation? तो जनरली जब हमें ऐसी कोई बड़ी प्रॉपर्टी खरीदनी है, राइट, जिसकी कीमत बहुत ज्यादा है, एट दैट टाइम पर हम एन्युटी मेथड ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. Let us take an example, a hypothetical example to understand the concept. Let's say हमने ये प्रॉपर्टी खरीदी नहीं, हमने इसे भाड़े पर ले ली, लीज पर ले ली, रेंट पर ले ली. And let's say that you are paying rent of 5 lakh rupees. Right? For how many years? 5 years. 5 साल के लिए आपने ये प्रॉपर्टी भाड़े पर ले ली और एक साथ आपने 5 लाख रुपए दे दिए. Now 5 lakh rupees you have paid it already in advance for this property. Now जैसे जैसे हम इस प्रॉपर्टी को यूज करेंगे, we find the value of asset solar panel will reduce. So this reduction is called as depreciation. So we find that this particular property is going to get depreciated. But यहाँ पर हमें concept समझना है regarding annuity. Let's say अगर ये 5 लाख रुपए हम प्रॉपर्टी में न डाल करके अगर हम इसे बैंक में रख देते तो क्या बैंक हमें इंटरेस्ट देती ना? यस. यानी अगर मैं यही 5 लाख रुपए बिजनेस में न लगाऊं और इसे मैं बैंक में फिक्स डिपॉजिट कर लूं, सो ऑन दिस फिक्स डिपॉजिट इज द बैंक गोइंग टू गिव मी इंटरेस्ट? द आंसर इज यस. सो मुझे इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा या हम इंटरेस्ट देंगे? हमें इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर मेथड इज बेसिकली यूज्ड specifically for getting interest and thereby adjusting that interest in the form of depreciation. यानी यहां पर प्रॉपर्टी तो हमारी 5 लाख की है, लेकिन डेप्रिसिएशन होगा 6 लाख का। बोले सर ऐसे कैसे कह सकते हो आप? प्रॉपर्टी अगर 5 लाख की है तो डेप्रिसिएशन भी मैक्सिमम 5 लाख का ही होता है, तो 6 लाख का कैसे हो सकता है? द सिंपल रीजन, आप यहां पर एक चीज खो रहे हो along with the property, and that is the interest. अगर ये 5 लाख रुपए हम बैंक में रखें तो हमें इंटरेस्ट भी तो मिलेगा, and this interest we are losing because we have not kept this 5 lakh rupees in bank, we have invested it in property, and that's why the value that you are losing is depreciation as well as interest. So remember, in case of annuity method, depreciation comprises the part of interest also. Let's take an example to understand it. Lease is 5 lakh rupees. Let's say in the first year you are getting an interest of 25,000. Fine. So now your property value becomes 5,25,000. अब इस पर आप एक depreciation provide करोगे. Let's say depreciation is 1,20,000 since we are dividing it for 5 years. So now the value of your asset becomes 4,05,000. Sir, ये कैसे आया? 5 lakh plus 25, that is 5,25,000 minus 1,20,000 is your 4,05,000. Now the same 4,05,000 we are going to invest. It will remain invested in the bank. So obviously we are assuming that it is interest. It is invested in bank. So on this you are going to get interest. Now the interest, let's say you are getting 23,000. The reason, the value of investment has come down. So here the interest component is reducing while the depreciation remains same. And we find that the balance is nothing but the difference in the opening balance, interest and depreciation. The same process continues for the third year where you are going to get interest, you will charge depreciation and the balance is calculated. In the fourth year, same you are going to get interest, obviously at the reduced value, will charge depreciation and there will be a balance. इस तरह से ये 5 साल तक चलता जाएगा and what you will find at the end of 5 years, the entire value of the asset turns zero. Such a method of applying depreciation is called as annuity method. अगर आप कैलकुलेट करें तो टोटल डेप्रीसिएशन 5 साल का 1,20,000 multiplied by 5 will be 6 lakhs. तो सर 5 लाख हमने प्रॉपर्टी में इन्वेस्ट किए और डेप्रीसिएशन 6 लाख. हाँ, वो जो 1 लाख डिफरेंस है, it is the loss that you have incurred due to interest. तो हमें समझ में आया कि एन्युटी मेथड के अंदर इंटरेस्ट कंपोनेंट इज आल्सो कंसिडर्ड. द नेक्स्ट वन इज योर डेप्रिसिएशन फंड मेथड. अंडर डेप्रिसिएशन फंड मेथड, द सेम प्रॉपर्टी, लेट्स से द सेम लीज ऑफ 5 लाख रुपीज, व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इन दिस केस, हम डेप्रिसिएशन ज्यादा चार्ज न करने के बजाय कम चार्ज करेंगे और जो depreciation amount है, this amount we are going to invest actually in the bank. So in the previous case हमने जो प्रॉपर्टी का पैसा इन्वेस्ट किया था और ऐसा अज्यूम किया था कि we are going to invest it in fixed deposit. Here in this case actually हम वो जो depreciation amount है that we are going to invest that particular amount into bank ताकि हमें इंटरेस्ट मिले और जो इंटरेस्ट मिले वो इस तरह से हमें मिले कि एट द एंड ऑफ द लाइफ ऑफ द एसेट हमारे पास जितनी वैल्यू हमने इन्वेस्ट करी थी सेम वैल्यू और मोर वैल्यू वी आर गोइंग टू गेट इट. कम ज्यादा जो भी हो वो तो इंटरेस्ट की वजह से होते रहता है. तो लेट्स टेक एन अंडरस्टैंड कि 5 लाख रुपीस के ऊपर कितना डेप्रिसिएशन हम चार्ज करेंगे. लेट्स से 4.5% or something like that, right? Or 19%, sorry. So 19% depreciation or 18% depreciation we have charged here. So 9,000 depreciation we have got. This 9,000 we are going to invest. So the fund will be called as sinking fund. This is basically used in buildings in cooperative societies. कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज जिनकी बिल्डिंग की वैल्यू करोड़ों में है, वो क्या करते हैं, इसी तरह से इस्तेमाल करते हैं, यानी सिंकिंग फंड का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, मेंबर्स से मेंटेनेंस के जरिए सिंकिंग फंड कलेक्ट करते हैं और उसे इन्वेस्ट करके इंटरेस्ट अर्न कर हम जब बिल्डिंग पुरानी हो जाएगी, वी कैन यूज दैट फंड फॉर रीडेवलपिंग आवर प्रॉपर्टी। तो यहां पर भी कुछ इस तरह से कंसेप्ट हम लेंगे। दिस 90,000 वी आर गोइंग टू इन्वेस्ट on this 90,000, right? Since 90,000 depreciation is charged at the end of the year, investment is also made at the end of the year. Since it is made at the end of the year, the interest is zero. So obviously the sinking fund will have only 90,000. In the next year, again you are going to charge depreciation at the end of the year, and same you are going to invest. Now the investment is 1,80,000. On this 1,80,000, actually you are going to get interest only on 90,000. So now the total sinking fund becomes 1,84,500. Third year, you are going to charge depreciation, you are going to invest it, you are going to get interest, and now the fund increases. Fourth year, again the depreciation, you are going to invest it, you are going to get interest, and now the fund increases. The fifth year also you are going to charge depreciation, you will get an investment value, also you are going to get interest, and now the balance is 5 lakhs. So what you find, by this way we are going to create a fund in such a way that interest component helps us to get the value of the asset, so that we can replace that asset or we can increase our lease for a further period because of these funds. So such type of method is called as depreciation fund method. I hope both the methods you understood. The next is like insurance policy method. Now generally certain assets are such that they are very costly, and these costly assets becomes let's say a problematic for us if they get damaged. For example, कोई भी अगर हमारी asset, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक asset है, कार है या कोई भी चीज, अगर ये बीच में एक्सीडेंट हो जाए या कोई नुकसान हो जाए, तो हमारे लिए राइट अगेन इतना पैसा अरेंज करना बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट। तो हमने क्या चालाकी करी, हमने चालाकी ये करी, लेट्स से दैट दिस पर्टिकुलर वैल्यू इज ऑफ 5 lakhs, हमने इसकी इंश्योरेंस करवा ली, ओके, एंड वॉट एवर इज द इंश्योरेंस वैल्यू दैट इज द डेप्रिसिएशन अमाउंट, गॉट इट। तो जो डेप्रिसिएशन है लेट्स से 1 लाख रुपीस, ये सेम डेप्रिसिएशन इज नथिंग बट द प्रीमियम अमाउंट ऑफ इंश्योरेंस। तो इंश्योरेंस 5 साल का लिया और ये 5 साल एवरी ईयर यू आर गोइंग टू पे 1 लाख रुपीस। So 1 lakh is the premium amount that we are paying as a depreciation here. And to your knowledge, अगर इस दौरान let's say second year also, third year, fourth year and fifth year, every year we are going to do the same thing, right? किसी भी साल में अगर प्रॉपर्टी को कुछ डैमेज होता है या अगर प्रॉपर्टी इस तरह से हो जाती है where it is useless or wasteful for us, in that case insurance company will give money to us. So that means we are at safe position because of this insurance. So let's say if any accident takes place and because of this accident the entire property damages, so we get a maturity value of 5 lakh. So that means हमारे business पर इतना असर नहीं होगा when we are following this type of method called as insurance policy method. The next is revaluation method. If you observe in business, there are certain assets which are not of bigger value, but still we are using it so that it helps in main functioning of our assets. Let's take an example of machinery. हमें machines, हमें पता है कि मशीन खराब होती है तो हमें हथौड़ी का इस्तेमाल करना होता है, हमें स्क्रू ड्राइवर का इस्तेमाल करना होता है ताकि हम उसे टाइट कर सके, रिपेयर कर सके. All these are called as loose tools. Now ये loose tools का problem ये है कि we purchase these loose tools at a particular value, but हम इनकी revalue, that is resale value, हम identify नहीं कर सकते. The simple reason we cannot resell these assets in the market. इसका सिंपल रीजन यही है कि कोई भी यूज्ड असेट, right, they'll not purchase, no one will purchase second hand or used such certain loose tools, and that's why we have to revalue these assets on our own. So let's say on 1st April we have purchased these loose tools for 80,000. Then at the end of the year हम इसे revalue करते हैं at current market price. Obviously the market price of these old assets are going to fall down. So this difference in value 80 and 70,000 is the depreciation. So simple. So in case of certain assets for which we cannot find out the value, we revalue the asset at the current market price, and the difference in the current market price results into depreciation. The next method is depletion method. This we have already understood in case of coal. So let's say that coal, timber, oil, these are getting depleted, right? And let's understand, let's say there are coal reserves of 20 lakh rupees. जो भी हमारी पर्टिकुलर जमीन है वहां पर 20 लाख रुपए के कोल रिजर्व्स हैं और अराउंड 1 लाख डिपॉजिट 1 लाख यूनिट्स हमको मिलेंगे. यूनिट्स कैन बी इन केजी, इट कैन बी ग्राम, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग. ठीक है. सो अगर पर यूनिट कॉस्ट अगर निकाला जाए, सो 20 लाख डिवाइडेड बाय 1 लाख will be 20 rupees per unit. So you will find the depletion rate will be 20 rupees per unit in a particular year. हमें पता है कि ये जो कोल रिजर्व्स है, these coal reserves are the extensive reserves. हम ये पूरा कोल एक साल में नहीं निकाल सकते. तो सर कितना कोल निकालेंगे? Let's say that you have extracted only 10,000 units in a particular year. So 10,000 units अगर हमने कैलकुलेट किया, so depletion will be 20 rupees multiplied by this 10,000, that is 2 lakhs. So we understand how to calculate depletion in case of natural resources. Same way, machine hour rate method. Now what is this machine hour rate? We are aware sometimes machines, though we have purchased it at a higher value, they are used only for a specific time. So instead of charging depreciation for the entire year, entire day, entire month, let us calculate depreciation on hourly basis for how much hours we are going to use the asset. जैसे ट्यूब लाइट्स, राइट, जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं, ये आवरली में काउंट किए जाते हैं कि कितने आवर्स हमारी ट्यूब लाइट्स या एलईडी लाइट्स वर्क करेंगी, राइट. सेम वे मोबाइल फोन्स के जो कैमराज होते हैं वो क्लिक पर होते हैं, कितने क्लिक्स, राइट, इस पर्टिकुलर कैमरा के यूज होंगे. जैसे जैसे हम क्लिक्स करते जाएंगे, वी फाइंड द वैल्यू और द एफिशिएंसी ऑफ कैमरा रिड्यूसेस. फाइन. सो लेट्स से द कॉस्ट ऑफ दिस मशीन इज 60 लाख रुपीस and the total useful life of this particular asset is 1 lakh. तो 60 लाख रुपीस is the total cost और ये 60 लाख रुपीस हम एग्जॉस्ट कर लेंगे इफ वी आर यूजिंग 1 लाख आवर्स. ऑब्वियसली 1 लाख आवर्स वी कैन नॉट यूज इट इन वन पर्टिकुलर ईयर. सो हम क्या करेंगे? डेप्रिसिएशन पर आवर विल बी हाउ मच? 60 lakh divided by 1 lakh, that is rupees 60. We have used this particular machine, let's say, for 5,000 hours only. तो depreciation कितना होगा? Obviously, depreciation will be 60 multiplied by 5,000, that is 3 lakh. So we understood, as per machine hour rate method, the depreciation is charged considering the hours. Second last, let's say fixed installment method. Now what is this fixed installment method? We can understand with the help of an example in a better way. So let's see, the cost of asset on 1st April is 80,000 and depreciation is charged at 10% per annum. At fixed installment method, calculate the amount of depreciation for 3 years. हम एक asset खरीद रहे हैं. The value of that asset is how much? 80,000. And this 80,000 का asset, we are charging depreciation at 10%. So let's see how are we going to calculate depreciation under fixed installment method. Since we are purchasing the asset on 1st April, the original cost of the asset is 80,000. Now depreciation, remember, is charged only at the end of the year. So agar end of the year is 31st March 2021, the depreciation will be 10%. What will be 10% of 80,000? Yes, it is last zero hide करेंगे तो हमें 8,000 मिलेगा. After deducting 8,000 from 80, हमें मिलेगा on 1st April the written down value will be 72,000. Remember, जब depreciation माइनस कर देते हैं तो asset की value को हम written down value WDV कहते हैं. Now in the second year, again we are going to charge depreciation at the end of the year. अब 10% हम कैलकुलेट करेंगे. 10% किस पर कैलकुलेट करेंगे? 72,000 और 80,000, है ना? It's a big question. So we understand 80,000 is the cost of asset. So let us charge depreciation on 80,000. So 10% of 80,000 is again 8,000. We'll reduce the value and we get 64,000 as the written down value for the next year. The third year, at the end of the year, we are going to charge depreciation 8,000. So now the written down value at the end of the year is 56,000. What you find that every year the amount of depreciation remains same. See, the first year 8,000, second year 8,000, third year 8,000. So if we draw a straight line, this method is also called as straight line method. Why it is called fixed installment method? Because every year with a fixed installment, the amount of asset reduces. I hope you understood what is fixed installment method. And the last one, that is diminishing balance method. Now what is this diminishing balance method? The same question we are going to take it considering diminishing balance method. Now let's say in the first year we have purchased the asset for 80,000. At the end of the year we are charging depreciation. 10% is 80,000 ka, 10% is 8,000. Now the reduced value, the written down value is 72,000. जब हमने क्वेश्चन किया था previously, 10% we should calculate of 80,000 or 72,000. Under fixed installment method हमने depreciation charge किया था on 80,000. Now we are charging depreciation on 72,000. So 72,000 is the reduced value. When you charge depreciation on reduced value, it is called as diminishing balance method or reducing balance method. So now we'll charge depreciation on 72,000, which is 7,200. The third year written down value will be 64,800. At the end of the year, the value will be 6,480. So now the final value at the end of the year of the asset is 58,320. So now if you observe, first year it is 8,000, second year it's reduced, third year it's reduced. So here we are getting reducing balance method. Got it? So these are the important methods of depreciation which we should consider, which we should understand, right? So these are like the different methods for charging depreciation. The last concept is regarding the factors. So what are the factors that affect depreciation? We find the very first factor is the cost. Let's say the cost is 10 lakh rupees and 10% depreciation we are going to charge. So depreciation amount will be 1 lakh, right? Let's say if the value is 30 lakh rupees and 10% depreciation will be how much? Yes, it will be 3 lakh rupees. So what you observe in this case, if the cost is 10 lakh, depreciation is 1 lakh. If cost is 30, depreciation is 3. So we understand if the cost increases, the depreciation amount also increases. Next is like useful life of the asset. Let's say the life of this asset is for 5 years. So if I divide this 10 lakh in 5 years, each year amount of depreciation will be 2 lakhs, right? If the same 10 lakh I use it for 10 years, so now the depreciation amount will be 1 lakh. So what to conclude in this case? If I am using the asset for a longer period of time, that means if the useful life of the asset is higher, we get lower depreciation. So we understand useful life of the asset affects the amount of depreciation. And the last one is the scrap value. We are aware scrap value is that value जो असेट बेचने पर मिलती है. जैसे जब कोई भी असेट हम मार्केट में बेचते हैं तो हमें भंगार में बेचो तो कुछ तो मिलेगा. तो वो जो भंगार में बेच रहे हो, वो जो हम रीसेल बेच रहे हैं, उसमें हमें जो वैल्यू मिलती है दैट इज कॉल्ड एज स्क्रैप वैल्यू. सो लेट्स से हमने 30 लाख रुपए में कार खरीदी और इसकी स्क्रैप वैल्यू एटलीस्ट कुछ नहीं है तो 5 लाख रुपए तो मिलेंगे. तो आपका टोटल डेप्रिसिएशन हो गया 25 lakhs. बट मान लीजिए अगर सेम कार की आपको स्क्रैप वैल्यू 10 लाख रुपए मिलती है, 5 के बजाय 10 लाख रुपए आपको मिलते हैं, तो नाउ द टोटल लॉस, द टोटल डेप्रिसिएशन इज 20 lakhs. सो व्हाट वी कंक्लूड कि अगर स्क्रैप वैल्यू ज्यादा है तो हमारा अमाउंट ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन डिक्रीजेस. So in today's session, we understood two important concepts of depreciation. One was method of depreciation and the other one was factors. I hope you understood both the concept nicely. See to it that you are learning, that you are preparing for the concept every time. By the time, take care. Bye-bye.